And what kind of player am I? Am I an offensive man or a defensive man? That's right, I'm neither. I play my opponent. If he likes to attack, I force him to defend himself. If he's a cautious man, I draw him into dangerous water. See, you get so frustrated playing defensive positions, you make stupid moves you never make if you were thinking. When you come here, boy, check that shit at the door,
I'm at the top of my game, cut the check. Somebody better king me, I'm the best. Let's play the game of checkers. Better yet, the game don't love nobody. Let's play chess. I keep forget when I'm in love anymore. I keep forget.
All right. Here we go. So we're live, episode 27 of Blue Collar Intellectual Podcast. Let me turn this down a little bit. There we go. So now we look like normal people. It's nice to see you all tonight. So I wanted to hop on specifically and talk about all the craziness that's going on within the whole Cardi B and Candy O going at each other. At this point, I mean, let's be honest. There's no reason for Candace Owens to go after Cardi B. All right? Cardi B is a grown-ass woman making music for other grown-ass women who do grown-ass shit with grown-ass men, and it's that simple. She doesn't pretend to be a role model for little girls. I don't claim that she is a role model for little girls. So I don't judge her on that level. Now, if you were, say, when Miley Cyrus did it, who was an actual role model for young girls, who did market to younger viewers, then yes, I would judge her based on that and judge her separately because that is what she did. That is what she did. That was her lane, was young children. All right, now let's be honest. The VMAs are not on, or the music video awards and stuff are not on at a time that your kid should be up anyways. But are you really pissed off at Cardi B for being the same person that she told you that she was, that she's always been? Or are you pissed off at Cardi B because you left your daughters with her and let her babysit your children and you just realized that this is what they're listening to? Are you pissed off because you realize as a parent that you've been screwing up? Or are you pissed off about the way she acted? Go ahead, drop your comments. I'll answer comments. I'll bring them up. We can talk about this like, grown adults, because that's what we are. There's no reason for Candace Owens to have gone after Cardi. The fact is, Candace is not Cardi's damn mother. And there's no reason to pretend like she is. All right, just to let you guys know, I want you guys to go to the YouTube channel and check it out. Pretty soon, I'm going to be moving my streams to Rumble or something like that so that, the tech lords can't shut me down. But I do want you guys to go to YouTube channel, The Blue Collar Intellectual, and look me up. And you can like and subscribe there. And you can listen to all my further podcasts. I've had great guests on, from David Webb to Sonny Johnson, Jeff Charles, writer from Red State and Liberty Nation. Had Coach Felicia Killings on from the Conscious Conservative Network. Had Eric Rittenmeyer, who's a mental toughness coach. He's been on Fox News and other stuff. I've had Jonesy from Pod Wasted, my boy Saul G, and Corey Frage. But back into this whole Cardi B and Candy O thing. It's just asinine at this point. They do this every couple of weeks, and I'm just saying it's a little suspicious. Cardi B's album is about to drop. Candy O hops in her mentions. And, of course, she says the stuff that a lot of conservatives would like to say but don't feel that they can get away with. So we all cheer her for doing it. I don't, because I view it as low-hanging fruit. To me, this is just low-hanging fruit. It has nothing to do with whether this is something that we should be focused on, whether this is something we should be pushing. To be honest, Trump did not engage in all of this, and he had more success with black voters than anybody else. So there's that. He actually directly courted the black vote, whether you believe it was sincere or not, with the Platinum Plan. He didn't insult voters. He took them as they were. Anyone that was willing to vote for him was more than welcome. The rappers had no problem going to the White House and meeting with Donald Trump. And they're raw capitalists. You may not agree with the forms of capitalism that they took in their previous lives before becoming famous, but they are raw capitalists. They rap about raw capitalism. Not one of them raps about being in a damn bread line. So let's stop getting it twisted. This idea that we need to cancel Cardi B and we need to cancel people who do things we don't like, how is that any different from what the left does? They want to cancel us because they don't like our politics. You want to cancel Cardi B because you don't like how she dances, how two strippers dance together on stage. Am I seriously? If you had been in any other venue, you would have been throwing dollars at these girls. So I don't want to hear it. Get off your high horses. It is absolutely stupid. We got 2 years as conservatives to be able to win back the House and possibly revert the biggest economic collapse in history and avert the worst possible case scenario, which is somebody gets it in their head that they can actually physically take guns. Now, I don't do the whole conspiracy theory, Q anonymous, or whatever it is. So if that's what you guys are about, go ahead and hop off. I don't care. But let's be real. We have 2 years to get this right. Nothing that just went on at the VMAs has anything to do with us winning in 2 years. Focus on what matters. These people who are making a big deal out of it are throwing red meat to the base. They're throwing you stuff that is going to get you distracted. And are you even paying attention to what's happening in Congress right now? Did any of you even watch the VMAs? Last time I checked, y'all were boycotting it. So why would you care what Cardi B does at 9 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night at an award ceremony? The whole damn thing's an exercise in narcissism. People giving themselves awards. Ooh, I deserve a trophy for growing this beard. I deserve a trophy for putting up with the stupid arguments that the establishment has delivered over the past few years. And if you notice, the Candace Owens and the Charlie, regardless of how you feel about them, they have a lot of energy behind them, but they're delivering repackaged versions of the exact same talking points that the establishment has used for decades. That has been unproductive. So wrap it up in brand new wrapping paper, put a little bow on it, and deliver it to people and hope to God that they don't figure out that the package is still filled with bullshit. Because that's what it is. Stop judging people by standards that they don't claim to be operating on. I don't care what Cardi B does on stage with Megan Thee Stallion. I don't care how she dresses. I don't care how she markets herself. It does not matter. It is irrelevant to the conservative movement. You're either for free speech or you're not. You can have an opinion on what she's doing and everything and whether it's productive. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to be pissed at you for that. Go ahead, have an opinion. But I want to be very, very clear at what we're getting into right now. Are we going to focus on the task at hand? Are we going to focus on what matters? Are we going to focus on actually providing solutions to people's problems? Or are we still going to be doing the same thing in 2 years and we're going to get another loss? All right. Market the solutions to people's problems. Market the ideas. Market what you can actually do to make people's lives better. Ignore everything else. It's not important. Market what matters. Now let's get into the cancel culture, because that matters, because we've abdicated the culture over the past 60, 70 years and let the left run away with it. They can do whatever they want with it. So we started out with actors and comedians being canceled, politicians being canceled. Chase from Paw Patrol. My kids watch Paw Patrol. That was actually really offensive to me, that you guys would cancel Chase from Paw Patrol. Seriously. It was about the dumbest thing on the planet. So Chase from Paw Patrol got canceled. Then we went to Lola Bunny, got reshaped. I guess you wokeicized, Hollywood wokeicized friggin' Lola Bunny. I didn't even know that was a thing that needed to happen. Didn't even know that was a thing, that was relevant. Why did her body and stature need to be changed? I don't get that. And then then we're canceling Peppy le Pew. We're canceling the skunk, Peppy le Pew. I got nothing. Really, out of all the things that for Hollywood to focus on. And unfortunately, we jumped at the chance to castigate. Look, it's a joke. It's a joke. The Hollywood is going to keep doing crazy stuff. They're going to keep canceling stuff. They're going to keep ruining things. And you know what? They're going to go too far left. They've created a beast that is starting to cannibalize itself. Let them do it. When your enemy makes a mistake, let them keep making the mistake. That is just fine. I have no issue with them continuing to try and cancel stuff. So you know what? Make an entire network of all the stuff that they canceled. Make our version of the Space Jam movie. Have Chase in there. Have freaking... Yes. How you doing, Liv? God bless, son. We have a literal rapist president, but they're canceling a cartoon character. Yes. Yes. You know what? It's absolutely asinine that this is where we're going right now. We're going to cancel cartoon characters. We canceled Chase because of the whole George Floyd thing. Chase from Paw Patrol because of the whole George Floyd thing. Because apparently my 5-year-old watching a police dog puppy get a cat out of a tree is now offensive. Did he beat the cat? Now I could change the vernacular a little bit, but it'd be inappropriate. Did he beat that cat up? I don't know. Yeah, we canceled Chase, and now we're canceling a skunk. To be honest, hey, let's be honest. If there was a character that needed to be canceled, Peppy le Pew would probably be the best character to do it. I mean, he's a womanizing, sexual assaulting skunk, constantly getting slapped and hit in the head with things by black cats that he's hitting on all the time. But the whole point of his character was the moral of kind of not sexually assaulting people. If you notice, he was never ever successful. He never actually hit the girl over the head and dragged her back to his cave. No, he always got the shit kicked out of him. So should we really be canceling characters that actually have a moral to their existence? The whole purpose of Peppy le Pew was to teach young children that it's not okay to do that. He was not the good guy. He was always the bad guy. Are we going to cancel Jessica Rabbit? Jessica Rabbit was a homicidal, homicidal buxom redhead. You going to cancel her? We're gonna cancel Betty Boot walking around the lingerie as a sultry little temptress. We're gonna cancel her too. We're gonna cancel Sippity Sam and Elmer Fudd because when they start mumbling, they might be saying something racist. We can cancel them. Maybe that's who we need to cancel next. We can cancel anybody that ever shot at Daffy Duck because Daffy Duck is black. There's a euphemism there. We're canceling period piece movies and books because, like Gone with the Wind and stuff, because they depict black people in a negative manner. No shit. They're period pieces. We were not all hunky-dory. We're not even all hunky-dory holding hands and skipping under rainbows and sniffing unicorn farts right now. Are we going to pretend like we need to cancel everything that happened before today because they were insensitive, because they showed society for exactly what it is? Everyone viewed black people in a typical, stereotypical fashion, kind of like exactly how you view us right now with your Chicago crime stats and rap music and blah, blah, blah. And both parties cry racism over the exact same stuff. The difference is the left creates the narrative and the right continues to run with the narrative even after the left has dropped that ball and left. We're running with a narrative that the left created decades ago, and we can't let it go. It's almost like choosing a losing tactic. Canceling cartoon characters. So what's next? What's next? So we went through a little bit of Cardi B. We went through a little Peppy Le Pew. That's right. Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder. See, I used to watch Steven Crowder. I used to watch him all the time. I used to share his content, specifically the Change My Mind segments, because I think that was his most valuable moment. I mean, he seems to be a funny guy. That was his most valuable moments for the conservative movement were the Change My Mind segments. But then he did something different. The other day, he decided to start making stereotypical epithets about black farmers that went off the rails and got progressively more racist the more he spoke. This type of stuff makes it really hard to market conservatism to anybody. When the people that millions of you follow start using stereotypes like that, it makes it damn near impossible to message to people. Makes it damn near impossible to say, hey, look, come look at these guys. You could come on over to our side. The water's warm. It's almost like we love snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. The left is going insane right now because they have the power to do whatever they want. And instead of letting them burn down everything that they could have the opportunity to accomplish and let that beast that they created eat itself, you decide to cannibalize ourselves instead. Let's lose our minds over everything the left does as if that worked for the past 4 years. Meanwhile, China is around the world colonizing Africa, giving predatory loans so that they can build infrastructure in the country and establish military bases, and then and using terms that nobody could possibly live up to, and promising to do things that they don't actually follow through on, like, actually hiring Africans to build these African infrastructure projects and then not following through on it. Yeah, so that's been happening. They're colonizing Africa, and where are we? What are we doing about it? The left is literally doing everything that Hitler, Stalin, and Mao did over the decades, and we haven't done a damn thing to stop it. What a damn shame. What a damn shame. Well, these are my thoughts for the day. I wanted to get into something. So I got a friend down in Louisiana, a friend named Claston Bernard. There's a gentleman down in Louisiana named Claston Bernard. He's running for Louisiana's, I believe, 2nd district. Now, see, I had a discussion with him last night, and he's bringing actual solutions to the table. Now, he's not getting any backing from the GOP. He's not getting any help, but he's actually bringing solutions. He was successful standing up in front of a crowd of the NAACP and talking directly to them, got a standing ovation, kind of like how Sonny Johnson, Maj Toure got a standing ovation at CPAC, who are making headway in different sectors, who can approach different crowds, who can actually provide solutions and not talking points. Those people are not being highlighted by the people in our party because they don't like that. If you solve the problem, they can't run on the problem in the following election. And let's be honest, people who solve problems are really popular for us voters. They're not really popular for the establishment in charge. They need the problem. The problem makes them money. Same with the activists. The problem makes them money. All the famous activists that we've had over the past 4 years, the name brands, they all have book deals and television shows now. They all make money off of the existence of the problem. So what are we really trying to accomplish? Are we wasting our time? Are we wasting our time right now? We jump up and down every time the left does something. And we act in the most predictable manner. They know that they can get us outraged and that we'll say a bunch of stupid stuff. In the effort to be contrarian to everything that the left does, we end up getting so peeved that we say some of the most heinous things in response. And it hurts us. It hurts our ability to message properly. It hurts our ability to message properly. Sometimes you need to call a spade a spade. When people screw up, they screw up. It doesn't have to be some crazy conspiracy or anything like that. Yes, the left is doing crazy stuff. The left always does crazy stuff. It's no different than any other time. We need to stop being outraged at everything that they do and focus on providing a solution. All right, we are months into this new election cycle, and trust me, the election cycle has already started. I'm already talking to all the other candidates. We're coordinating. We're getting ready. Everyone's is launching their campaigns, announcing themselves, so on and so forth. You need to get going. This hyper focus on everything that the left does, this hyper focus on everything that they say and everything that they want to cancel and everything that they whine and cry about and every stupid position that they take up. Why? At this point, we're giving them steam. They say something ridiculous, we hop out there to attack them on it. Like, I'll be honest, the right made AOC. The left didn't make her. Nancy Pelosi and all the establishment Democrats were trying to get rid of AOC straight off the bat. They were trying to get rid of her. The only reason she got as popular as she did is because every time she said something stupid, we jumped out to attack her. Now they have to rally to defend her because she's a Democrat. Because unlike us, they link arm in arm when they walk on the battlefield. They deal with their crap behind closed doors. They'll primary her. They tried to primary her out. But we popularized her. The more we attacked her, the more she got popular with the left. And it goes the same with Al Sharpton and Louis Farrakhan. The left has been trying to ditch these dudes for decades. But every time they say something stupid, we trot them out and go, look, see what your side did? And then they bring them back on. They go, look, see what the Republicans are attacking the civil rights icon. Remember, they control the narrative. We react to the narrative instead of driving a narrative of our own. See, when they hold 90% of the microphones, we don't have the opportunity of being wrong. When they hold 90% of the microphones, we don't have the opportunity to second guess and fix our statements. They can fix their statements in real time because another network will cover up for them as it's happening. We don't have that ability. So they're crafting a narrative and we're reacting to their narrative instead of being very, very clear in what we're trying to get across. Are we trying to govern based on conservative principles of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to all citizens and draw the line at where we infringe on each other's rights? Or are we going to start legislating culture and social issues? See, damn near every cultural and social issue in this country can be taken care of when you secure the family unit. When you secure the family unit, all of a sudden a lot of these social issues start to fall off. Mental health is better. Abortion declines. Economics get better when you have two parents feeding into the economic welfare of the household and the community. Educational outcomes are better when you have two parents focusing on the well-being of their children. That means that child is going to grow up to have more opportunities. If you have a good education, you have more opportunities. That means you don't take the path into drugs and gambling and other destructive means of capitalism. You take that more productive path and you roll with it. If you have a good education, you use the opportunities that are available to you. Those opportunities breed further opportunities. Then that kid that got that good education, use those opportunities, creates his own family. And he's invested in his own family and getting his own children a good education. And then it becomes cyclical. Everyone's you're putting more wealth back into your community, which drives better educational outcomes. You're more engaged in your child's education. You're more engaged in the friends that they hang out with, the movies that they watch, the music that they listen to, which brings us back to the Cardi B and Candace Owens. If you were engaged in what your daughters were listening to, you would not be looking to Cardi B, a damn stripper, to be the moral role model for your damn daughter. Stop acting like she was supposed to be a role model in the first place. You know what the VMAs are. They were dead a long time ago. You shouldn't have let your kids watch it in the first damn place. Education breeds opportunity. Economic opportunity keeps fathers in homes. That's across the board. That's not a race thing. Across the board, a father in the house means more focused on the economic, better educational and economic outcomes of the children. Those children grow up to be like their parents, also staying in the house, also breeding better economic outcomes and stuff. And it feeds cyclically. That solves most of the issues in our country right now. Now, let's talk about how we get fathers back in households, okay? Because we have a lot of fathers. Economic opportunity will do that. So the jobs got to be there. The taxes got to be low. The regulations got to be low. You got to allow people an opportunity in a landscape in which they can build. Education, school choice. School choice. Now, in my state, New Hampshire state constitution prohibits the federal government or the state government from allocating any taxpayer funds to any parochial school or religious institution, which is just fine because it's not the state giving money to the parochial school or religious institution. It's the state giving money to the parent. The parent gets to send that child to whatever school they want to go to, and only 30% of the state fund of the gathered funds end up going to the parent. The other 70% stays in schools. So don't start whining to me about schools being underfunded. You still keep 70% of the funds for a student that you're no longer educating. Last time I checked, that's a win. Any business that got 70% of the profits of having you as a customer, even though they don't have you as a customer, would consider that a win. 100%. See, arguments like that against school choice start to fall off when you apply basic business principles and basic economics and common sense. So I say give the money to the parent. The parent decides where the kid goes to school. You get competition within the school to provide a better product, which is the education of children. The children have better opportunities to be able to get a more diverse field of education based on where they decide to get your education through, which is just fine. Now let's talk how to get fathers back in homes. See, I'm not a fan of the war on drugs. Prohibition didn't work for alcohol, and I don't care how morally you feel about drugs. Prohibition has not worked for drugs either. It's created the biggest black market in history. Yep. How you doing, Abraham? Get fathers in homes with economic opportunities and espousing traditional morals and values. Yes. Not just espousing traditional morals and values, we also have to live those traditional morals and values. See, the problem with conservatives is we've abdicated our role in the community. A cry for government sounds a hell of a lot more valid when there's no community to take care of things at a local and community level. Those charities, that conservative principle of giving, tithes and a collection plate, it applies to the community as well. If your goal as conservatives is to go home, crack open a beer, which Bud Light is shitty beer, it's kind of like water. Crack open a beer and put your feet up, but it's all I have in the house right now. We had an event, so I'll drink what I got. I ordered a couple bottles of Jefferson's bourbon. By the way, Jefferson's Reserve is great if you want to check it out. It's awesome. And if you want good cigars, check out Deployment Cigars. For every cigar you buy, they ship cigars overseas to the troops, which I love supporting veterans causes. Anyone that gets back to the veterans is 100% my book. But back to that. You keep fathers in homes by providing economic opportunity. You can't tell people to pull themselves up by the bootstraps when they got 100 years of concrete cementing their boots to the ground. You got to chip away at that concrete first. Okay? The Republican Party is in the position And I'll give you another analogy. The Republican Party is in the position of the absent father. Our tactic to reaching black voters, specifically black and minority voters in general, has been tough love. And I'm starting to see that tough love permeate through anybody who's not already a conservative, the suck it up buttercup. It doesn't work. See, we're in the position of the absent father when it comes to cities and urban areas. We have not been there in almost 100 years. In some places in the country, around 60 to 70 years in a lot of others. If an absent father comes into your life, would you accept tough love from him? No, you'd be more likely to punch him in the mouth. I know I would. Yeah, the Democrats could very easily be considered the abusive mother. But if the father was in the household to be able to take care of his children and protect his children, would the mother have been able to abuse that child? No. And given the choice between the absent father and the abusive mother, the evil that you know is better than the evil that you don't. See, we come with tough love, but you got to show love first. You got to build up that credit score with the community first. You have to build up relationships first. You don't walk into another person's house and then start laying their business out there. Before you can deliver tough love, you got to be honest. There are actual people who are racist out there. Yes, there are. Most of them, yeah, they're far less people who are active racists than there are people who are just ignorant. Most people I've found to be ignorant, and they accept the line that's been given to them because they either don't care to do any research or they have no experiences to contradict it. And I blame that on media in general. Not right, left, I mean all of media. Every character in a movie that you've ever seen a minority play is a stereotype, and usually a negative stereotype. There's no nuance. All the old family shows that espouse moral values and stuff have been taken off the air. They had been taken off the air. We had, 15 years between the last good family show focused on a minority block and these next ones that are recently coming out. I mean, yeah, they deal a lot in this whole social justice thing, but that's what's going on right now, so it's relevant. See, I don't knock the tone of a show if the subject matter being brought up is actually relevant. I don't. My encounters all over the country with white people lead me to believe that white supremacy is not as major of an issue as people would think. Unfortunately, it is an issue in circles with a lot of people that have a lot of power. And there's, for a lot of it, there's what I call the intersection of common interests. There's a lot of people that have no interest in solving any of these issues because they make money off these issues. There's a lot of people whose stature relies on the problems remaining where they are. There's a lot of people who have no interest in solving any of these problems because they just sheer don't care. It doesn't affect them. So having the discussion is something that is quite necessary. Unfortunately, as I saw yesterday in a thread that I had posted online, I had a thread that we all pretty much had no problem with, but using Trump as an example to snap people out of the immediate reaction to talking points, specifically regarding the term reparations. I used Trump as an example, and it brought the most irrational responses from all over the damn internet, either for or against Trump. And to be honest, I think the obsession either for Trump and the obsession against him they're both equally destructive. I think worshiping and politicians in general is destructive to our republic, and it's destructive to our Constitution. There's a lot of people out there right now that if Trump were to say, let's tear down the Constitution, they'd tear down the Constitution for a simple fact that they see the man over the principles. Now, whether you guys like Trump or not, what made Trump win in 2016 was simply the party establishment within the Republican Party has lied to and ignored the voters. What do you mean a false equivalent on Trump? Explain in the chat. I'll bring it up in a minute. The Republican Party, in all the way up leading till 2016, had lied to their voters and purposely denied them what they were asking for, repeatedly, over and over and over again. They shipped jobs overseas. They continuously had no problem ignoring this. They ignored the rural areas of this country. See, both parties play this game. Now, Democrats know that the urban districts will damn near 100% vote for them. And Republicans know that the rural districts will damn near 100% vote for them. So each party battles over the suburbs. So no matter what happens, the suburbs are always the people who come out on top, who always get their issues addressed, while both the rural communities and the urban communities get shit on. And they get shit on because if I know you're going to vote for me no matter what incentive do I have to actually deliver for you? So they'll tacitly deliver a couple things that sound really nice but accomplish nothing. They'll tacitly deliver this, or just a dash, just to make you happy, just something that sounds really good on a podium, and solve nothing. And it happens in both areas. Both parties have shit on their voters for decades. In that regard, neither is better than the other. Neither actually delivers. Okay, I get what you're saying. Calling out Trump's garbage is not obsessing over him. To equate him with folks like the insurrectionists is a false equivalent. I don't equate Trump to being equivalent to the insurrectionists. Those Q people are fucking insane, and they were planning on doing that regardless of what Trump said. They were already working on it before he said anything on that podium. If anything, if anybody was going to be culpable based on the speeches given on the podium, it would have been Lynn Wood with it and Rudy Giuliani with their statements. That might actually rise to a calling for insurrection. But you read the tweet. You read the tweet. Now, granted, bringing up Trump is always a touchy subject for just about anybody. But my whole point. Okay. They were Trumpists who he fomented for an entire year. And yes, they were accomplices. I get what you're going with this, but it is besides the point. My point was I used Trump as an example to get people, because the target audience with that tweet I was trying to reach were conservatives to get triggered by the word reparations when they don't need to be. It is a simple word, means to repair what's broken or what has been broken. I don't care. I'm not going to defend Trump. I'm not going to defend Trump. I have no interest in doing that. Trump is a grown-ass man. He can defend himself. But that thread, my whole point was I want conservatives to understand to stop being triggered by words. You can't sit and call the left snowflakes when we get triggered by a simple word like reparations and we're completely unable to have the conversation. If you say to me, if I tell you I have a problem and you tell me you're not even willing to have the conversation, you lost the argument right there. They automatically got my vote because they were at least willing to listen. That's one of the primary ways we lose. The left is willing to have a conversation about anything. If you want to talk about how math is racist, there's that professor at freaking UC Berkeley that is willing to talk with you about it on the left. Meanwhile, we look at you and we go, no, you're an idiot, and go away. You could come to conservatives with a legitimate problem saying, hey, there's over-policing going on in my hood in Baltimore. The police have been being used as a tax arm against the citizens in Baltimore, Ferguson, Chicago, Detroit, friggin' LA, New York, all over the damn country. Milwaukee. It's been proven. They've had lawsuits successfully. People have been kicked out of freaking office for it. But you know what? They're replaced with people who think exactly like them. So is it really a win? See, when there's no competing ideas, there's nothing to stop either side from going off the deep end. There's no reins to pull back on that carriage before it drives off the cliff. This is what we're dealing with. Monopolitics in any form is bad. It's bad. You see what's happening in New York. You see what's happening in California. They've gone so far off the deep end that it's insane. There's no common sense because everyone in the room is like in an echo chamber. And when all you're hearing is your own opinions being spit back at you, you start to snipe off the most moderate people within the echo chamber to the point where everyone in the echo chamber is radical. That's one of the reasons I refused for such a long time to get on Parler. Because I saw all the QAnon people go over there to their damn nonsense, and I was like, well, this is unproductive. Now, granted, there are a lot of people that I can talk to and have a reasonable conversation with and maybe be able to change the dialogue towards something productive because people are angry. And just like in the military, the focus needs to be on taking those angry individuals and focus them on an actual goal, just actually solving the problems. You have to be willing to have the conversation, though. You have to be willing to talk about the stuff that nobody else is willing to talk about. Every time the left brings up a grievance, when I hear the left complain about systemic racism, well, considering anything that you've done to erase systemic racism in your neighborhood doesn't affect their neighborhood because all politics is local, what you do with the federal government doesn't permeate down to the cities. So when they say they're living in systemic racism, last time I checked, a Republican hasn't won most of these cities since prior to the Civil Rights Act. I mean, way prior to the Civil Rights Act. So could they be, I don't know, telling the truth, explaining what they see in their neighborhoods from their perspectives? See, I don't say I have a different experience with somebody and use that to counter their experience because my experience doesn't erase their experience. See, you've been delivered that as a talking point because you know Jimmy that you grew up with who became a cop and he married your sister and all that stuff. That doesn't mean that old dude in Detroit didn't just pull somebody out of the car and beat him. When I lived out in California, I got pulled out of my car multiple times and thrown against the hood of my car. Everything changes once they see the military ID, once they see the Marine Corps sticker on my Chevelle. I'm just another black guy in a blacked out Chevelle. I love that car. but it didn't matter. I was just another black guy until they see my military ID. Without that military ID, I probably would have got messed up. I wouldn't go so far as to say I'm implementing Jim Crow 2.0, but I am reading what's going on. I'm not in favor of most of these voter laws down there. Most of them are stupid. Like, I have no problem with voter ID. I think voter ID should be a requirement nationwide, and it should be similar to a military cat card. I'm actually writing a voter ID law right now, a voting system. Now I'm trying to work with a blockchain guy to make our votes secure. But I want, when you turn 18, for you to be handed your voter ID. I want, when you turn 18, for you to be scheduled an appointment to come pick up your voter ID to use all of your stuff. No, I'm mentioning, look, I'm from the South, and I know Jim Crow. This has nothing to do with voter ID. Voter ID is not the crux of my point. The crux of my point is I understand what's going on down there with the voter laws. I've been reading into them right now. I'm planning on doing a special episode on them. What's going on down there with the voter laws, the idea that because Republicans don't think that they can actually court black voters, that they're going to do everything they can to make it hard for black voters to vote, I think it's stupid. I don't like it. And yes, it is very much voter suppression. It's using the legal system to suppress votes. They're doing everything legally possible to make it harder to vote, even though that wouldn't actually turn out. It wouldn't. I think the best way to describe it is everything physically possible to affect the vote without doing anything illegal. Which I'm not going to say that both parties don't do it. I completely disagree with it when both parties do it. It's absolutely stupid. All right, here's something I can rock with. Republicans will never get the black vote engaged in such. Even many conservative black votes. You're right. You're right. I can't even market frigging conservatism to black voters because they see the party. That's what I'm saying. Don't even I don't even mention the party. Like, if you were to look on my damn campaign page, you wouldn't even see a party affiliation. Well, because I'm not selling a party. I'm just trying to solve a problem. These Republicans that define themselves by their party will never be able to court black voters because all they see is party line politic. They're Republicans first, conservatives last. See, my experience around the country in every state that I've lived in and every state that I've visited and all the people I've talked to is most people are actually very conservative when it comes to the role of government. What we are very liberal on is social issues, because people should be able to live their lives the way they want to live. And that should require no interference by government. Perfect example, I don't care if you want to get a hooker. That's a contract between two consenting adults. Do what you do. I don't care if you want to smoke weed on your couch. You're an adult. Do what you want to do. I don't care if your name is Bob and you're a dude and you want to be called Jennifer and wear a dress. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. It doesn't impact my freedoms or anything else. I don't care whether two dudes want to get married or two girls want to get married. The only role of government in marriage is to recognize that a contract has been created between two consenting adults. The only time the government is involved is when your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness interrupts my own pursuit of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. You have your rights. I have my rights. We all have the same rights. Once we perpetrate on each other's rights, that's where the government is supposed to step in. The primary role of government is protect the rights of the individual citizens in this country from each other and from other nations and from itself. Why many white conservatives are triggered is rooted in white supremacy. Have to acknowledge this to get through this. Well, I don't acknowledge it because I disagree. It's that simple. I disagree. Yes, there are white conservatives and white liberals. To be honest, if I told you half the conversations that I've had when providing security for people, for high up executives and celebrities and stuff like that, when I do security, I've heard some nasty conversations, and they're not all from conservatives. As a matter of fact, most of them came from liberals too. Wealthy people talk about everybody that they believe are beneath their station with absolute disdain, or with complete condescension, as if we're all babies that should just shut up and get in line. It is really disgusting. But not everything is rooted in white supremacy. There are very few people involved in a conspiracy theory. Everybody else is just acting in their own common interest or acting on the information that's given to them. Most of it's ignorance. People that don't know what they don't know, and they operate on that. Where it starts to lean towards actual white supremacy, which I label active malice, is when you get into you go from the passive ignorance, which is you don't know what you don't know, and roll with the very little information that you do, to where you get actively ignorant, where you don't know and have no desire to learn, and you just don't care. The problem is too many people don't see the nuances in society. The left doesn't see the nuances on the right. The right doesn't see the nuances on the left. It makes it very easy for us all to mischaracterize each other and group each other into groups and assume that they're all the same. The most disgusting, loudest voices get access to the damn microphones. That's something that needs to change. The people who should be speaking are never the people that actually get the opportunity to speak, and the people who shouldn't be speaking are always the people that are handed the microphone. It's the way you discredit a movement. The right does it to the left does it to the right. If you want to discredit any movement, they did it during the Civil Rights Act and all throughout history. Perfect example, the hide your kids, hide your wife. Yeah. They take the most ignorant dude in the group and they make that the entire group by highlighting them. So out of 12 hours of protesting peacefully all throughout LA, nothing was burned, nothing was hurt. They focus, instead of acknowledging the peaceful protesting all day, they focus on from 9 p.m. at night till 6 o'clock in the morning, when the losers came out and burnt down the city. Yeah. That's how you discredit a movement. You focus on the knuckleheads. And the worst part is, after George Floyd happened, damn near everyone I talked to was in complete agreement that it should never happen. the media pundits were the ones that crafted the narrative that it was MAGA versus Black Lives Matter. And it was because we weren't sufficiently divided enough. They had to put us against each other. But we've reached 1 hour. I got to go do daddy things. Hey, thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. It is a great night. I'll keep you guys posted. Tonight I just want to hop on to chat and get some things off the chest about all the stupidness that's been going on in recent days. So, you know, it is what it is. All right. Like, subscribe, share. Have a lot of better episodes than this, where I have guests on and we talk. Last episode was with Sonny Johnson, a great episode. I had David Webb on and Eric Rittmeyer before that. Like, subscribe, share. I'm going to start having all the candidates that are running in this election on as well. And we're going to get to the nitty-gritty of what our campaign platforms are and stuff like that. And I'll start doing episodes specifically as just a candidate. That'll be separate from here. I'm going to keep the blue-collar intellectual on my candidate side separate for now, as much as physically possible. All right. You all have a great night. Again, if you want to check the audio for any of the other podcasts, you can catch me on YouTube or on Spotify, The Blue Collar Intellectual. Or have a good night. And if you want apparel, go to Kin Custom, Kin Custom BlueCollarIntellectual.com. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
And what kind of player am I? Am I an offensive man or a defensive man? That's right, I'm neither. I play my opponent. If he likes to attack, I force him to defend himself. He's a cautious man, I draw him into dangerous water. See, you get so frustrated playing defensive positions, you make stupid moves you never make if you were thinking. When you come here, boy, check that shit at the door,
I'm at the top of my game, cut the check. Somebody better king me, I'm the best. Let's play a game of checkers. Better yet, the game don't love nobody. Let's play chess.